Hi, a very good evening to all of you. Today we are going to discuss the case note of Mr. Barry Johns. Now, let's see who you are. You are a nurse practitioner at a clinic, Newtown Medical Clinic, and Barry Johns is a regular patient of yours. So that's it. So we have got some background information here. Let's go ahead with the writing task. So what you can see in the writing task is that using the information in the case note, write a letter to Miss Jane Graham, an occupational therapist. So you are going to write to Miss Jane Graham, and you are going to detail Mr. Barry John's situation. That's number one. And you're going to request an assessment of his workplace. That's number two. So you are going to address the letter to Ms. Jane Graham, Newtown Occupational Therapy, 10 Johnston Street, Newtown. So that's it. So let's see what we have written. That's today's date is 20 June 15. Ms. Jane Graham, occupational therapist, Newtown Occupational Therapy, 10 Johnston Street. There is a spelling mistake here. Johnston Street. Okay. Newtown. So that's it. And you're referring Barry Johns, aged 44. So dear Miss Graham. So let us go ahead with the patient details here. Mr. Barry Johns is a resident of Newtown, where the occupational therapist who lives. Now his date of birth or age is 44. Now why is he presenting to the clinic? The reason for presenting to the clinic is that he wants to return to work. So he had a back injury. So after that, he wants to return to work. And you know, one more thing is very important here, that his employer is supportive in making him return to the work. So regarding the return of Ms. Barry Johns to work, the employer is very much supportive. So let us go ahead and see the medical history. I don't need the medical history. It is not needed. Family and social history. I don't need this thing. I don't need this thing. He's married, 3 children, not so relevant to the occupational therapist. But here we need something which is very relevant to the occupational therapist. Work. What is his work? He drives forklift in a large warehouse. And this requires prolonged sitting and occasional heavy lifting. Now, here again, we don't need this thing because we are writing to the occupational therapist. So you, what type of medication you have given? No, we don't need this thing. Now let's move ahead and see whether which is relevant to this. I really need the summary of this thing. So 21st, the presenting complaint, the summary. So summary of these things. I don't need this thing because there is no these problems. I don't need to mention. If there is no these problems, why should I mention that? So here, diagnosis, something is very important. And now something we need to brief, exercise, referral. We don't need this medicines. And these two things we need to brief. So we need to get the summary of what we have marked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need to brief these things, which is relevant to the occupational therapist, the condition. Now the progress, again, the summary is up to, sorry. Yes. So we need the summary up to this point in the next paragraph. So what is the progress of the treatment? So he came after 30 days review. So progress is there because now he's walking, but still painful. Again, pain is still there, recovering. Walking, time increase from 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. Again, the time increased to 30 minutes. Now, extended 30 plus 30, 60 days. You have 30 days off plus 30 days off. The progress is not satisfactory as expected. So we have given, initially we have given 30 days off. Then we have given additional 30 days off. Still not recovering, additional 30 days off. Right now, we need to assess his condition. Right now, he is able to walk for 30 minutes. You know that his employer is supportive. Right now, he's bored, he's discouraged and wants to return to work. So his condition at present, he is, because physiotherapy is initiated 3 months ago. Slowly, he is improving his condition. He's right now, he's able to walk for 30 minutes, but after 30 minutes, he be getting exhausted. So right now, he is able to sit for 20 to 30 minutes. After that, he'll be getting pain. Pain will be increasing. So you need to get adjusted to the situation. So there should be a work and the life balance. So you need to assess the situation. So that's why we are going to see the expert. That's Miss Jane Graham. So we need her service to assess the workplace situation. So Mr. Barry John's workplace. So you have given some information regarding Barry Jones, how he is, what happened to him and how he is. He has some problems, some limitations because of his back injury, back sprain. So we have briefed the limitations and we are requesting her to assess the workplace of Mr. Barry Jones and to assess whether his workplace, in his workplace, he gets regular breaks or he should not get this heavy lifting. He makes sure that these conditions are okay. So if he is not getting regular breaks, and if he's getting, if he is assigned with heavy lifting, so he's not, the workplace is not adjustable. So Mr. Barry Jones cannot continue his work. But if these two conditions are satisfactory, so if he he doesn't need to lift heavy things. And if he has regular breaks in between the work, he can resume his work and support his employer. So we need to request Miss Graham to assess the condition and report. So one more thing that she has written, what he has advised on duties patient can perform, etc. So this is something very crucial here. What advice, what duties he can perform. So you need to assess whether Mr. Barry can work, and if his workplace is fit for his present condition, he needs to advise what duties or what work Mr. Barry can perform. So that's it. So let us assess the letter, which is there already. The purpose of this letter is to request your assessment of Mr. Barry John's workplace. Okay, very clearly said. To request your assessment of Mr. Barry John's workplace. Who is Mr. Barry Johns? He is recuperating after a lower back strain and decides to return to work if conditions are favorable. So it's a lower, yes. The diagnosis is lower back strain, severe lower back strain. So the diagnosis is there. So he is recuperating after a lower back strain. He is improving his condition and decides to return to work if conditions are favorable. If conditions are favorable, he wants to work. He wants to work. He needs to work. He needs to work. Now, who is Mr. Johns? He works as a forklifter, his profession, in a large warehouse, and his job demands. What is the type of his job? His job demands prolonged sitting because he's a driver. He needs prolonged sitting and heavy lifting occasionally. So occasionally he needs to replace or shift the boxes, heavy boxes. And then what happened is that he was lifting a heavy box just 4 days ago before his presentation on 21st March. And what happened is that he met with the condition that is the sprain. No, it's not sprain. It's a strain to his back. Severe it was. He presented to me, he presented to our clinic with worsening pain. So the incident happened 4 days ago, the presentation. That's on 17th of March. So after 4 days, he presented to our clinic with complaints of worsening pain. And what we have done is that we have confirmed his diagnosis. After confirming his diagnosis, along with symptomatic treatment, that's the medications that we have given for anti-inflammatory, anti-analgesics and all we have given. Physiotherapy was initiated. Okay, so that's the first line treatment. He was advised to take off from work for 30 days and was asked to come for review after that period. Okay, so he was also advised to take off from work for 30 days and was asked to come for review after that period. That's 30 days. Although Mr. Jones was compliant with exercise programs, the physiotherapy, he was compliant. He had improved his range of motion. He was advised to stay away from work for another 60 days since his recovery was lower than expected. So we have seen that. So the review was for 30 days first. first review after the month, after 1 month after this presentation. When he presented the first time, we assessed the condition is more or less the same. So we requested him to take rest for another 30 days. Still, we didn't find any serious improvement there. We have advised him to take off for another 30 days. So we had a total 3 months off right now. So right now he has taken 90 days leave already. So this is what we have seen. Even though he was given some of his progress, the recovery progress was not that much satisfactory. At present, he can walk for 30 minutes. So right now he can walk for 30 minutes. However, experiences pain after 20 to 30 minutes after sitting online. Now his condition has improved. Right now he has improved his walking pattern from 10 minutes. It was the beginning. It was increased to 15 to 20 minutes. Now he can walk 30 minutes, half an hour. He can walk, but he experiences pain after 20 to 30 minutes after sitting or lying. And this is his physical condition. Right now, what is his mental condition? Psychologically, he's bored and badly wants to return to work. So he's worried of his employment. He's bored, he's disgusted, he's discouraged, he's depressed. So he needs to return to work. So psychologically also, he's not good. He's not in a good condition. He's not in a good physical condition, as well as not in a psychologically good state. Now, it would be appreciated if you could visit Mr. John's workplace and assess whether he can take regular breaks at work and avoid heavy lifting. Now, if you could visit Mr. John's workplace, one workplace, assess whether he can take regular breaks at work and avoid heavy lifting. And is needed there, and assess whether. He also needs advice on the duties he can carry out if the conditions are satisfactory. Okay, so right now we have reached the last part of the explanation here. He also needs advice on the duties he can carry out if the conditions are satisfactory. Now we have another matter here, and that's about his supportive, his employer is supportive regarding his return. So it's something which is a positive matter. It's a favorable matter. So I don't think that is a duty of the occupational therapist. So I think we can just edit it off. because the duty of the occupational therapist is to assess whether he can take regular breaks at work and avoid heavy lifting at his workplace. So Miss Graham needs to visit John's workplace, assess whether he can take regular breaks at work and avoid heavy lifting. Now, he also needs advice on the duties, what duties he can perform. Now, if the conditions are satisfactory, if the conditions are favorable, what duties Mr. Barry can carry out, what duties he cannot. So this is another thing that Ms. Graham needs to get us the report. So if you have any further queries, please do not hesitate to contact me. Yours sincerely, this nurse practitioner, because you are running the clinic. So you just don't write nurse, it is nurse practitioner here. And that is the end of the explanation here. So we have completed the letter to the occupational therapist. So many often I have seen this particular thing, that is the social history, the background history is written in this place. As far as this is a letter which is written to the occupational therapist, I think it is better to write. I would say it is better. It is better to write this thing. It's here itself. So you need to give some background information, because you are not going to deal with the medical condition, or you're not going to deal with the immediate condition of the client. So it can be placed there better than placing it below, because you are going to request the occupational therapist to do some tasks. So I don't need that thing there. So that is the explanation. Thank you. I hope you must have understood all these things here. Yes.